Don't you touch that mouse. Gun Talk's not done yet, not by a long shot. Thanks for hanging around. Man, have we got a treat for you. This is the Gun Talk After Show. This is what we call, down in Louisiana, lagniappe. A little something extra for free. This is where you can call in and ask those questions that are maybe too hot for the radio, or just take a little extra time to explain. So, welcome back in, Tom, Jim Kinsey, our show producer, Michael, and Michelle. Let's do this, guys. Take it away.
All right, we are now in the after show. Tom Gresham here, joined with by Michael. Mike, are you there?
I is. How are you?
Okay. Good. Michelle.
Accounted for.
and even present. And Jim, did they let you back in? Did they not lock you out this time?
Not this time, because I was right on something, and they had to let me in. I was finally right on something.
All right. Yes, you were. And you sent me a note. You said C, and you're right. So you have the floor, sir. Go for it.
Well, I shouldn't have to be right in the first place. Sgt Tim Murray was released Friday, as we predicted 3 weeks ago on this show, I believe it was. That would be released on Friday prior to the election, in the spirit of Rahm Emanuel's "Never Let a Crisis Go to Waste." That's how I felt it was. I felt they were going to hold him there. It was almost 9 months he was locked up. He could have been released in a matter of a day or two.
You think that the Obama White House kept him, made sure he was still in Mexico so they could spring him as an October surprise?
Sure, it's a shot in the arm to the Dems. It's a shot in the arm to the Dems to look what we did. Aren't we great? We worked so diligently on this for so many months.
Do you think they're going to bring him to the White House tomorrow, Monday, in time for the photo ops?
Yeah, I think he'll do that run, and then he'll scoot over and do the Jimmy Fallon and that kind of stuff, too. I'm sure. I don't know if that'll be as soon, but they're going to take advantage of this on Monday. Well, not take advantage. It was part of the strategy, and it's playing out.
Sergeant, if he got in front of the cameras and said, "And by the way, you sorry son of a gun," he says, "you could have gotten me out of there within a week of me getting in there, but you held me out to play political pawn with it."
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, but you did. You predicted this almost a month ago. You got to the exact day. I mean, you said on the Friday before the election, that's when it's going to be released.
Yep, he was played.
He was played. And despicable doesn't even get close to what that action is.
Well, I just wish that 90% of the people would wake up and see how despicable we see it, to be, and just see behind the curtains that they throw up. Because otherwise, how are things going to change?
They're busy watching Honey Boo Boo.
I know.
I mean, come on, get me started on that one. Okay. So, guys, you heard me go on and on and on and on and on about the Ladies 3-Gun event and how I think it is transformational. Your thoughts?
I think anything we can do to get more people into the shooting sports and to educate them about it, no matter what it is, as long as it's done in a safe manner, is awesome for our cause.
Well, and we've said over and over again, countless times, if you get the moms involved, you get the children going. And I think it's just so important for us to grow everywhere for our future and for the firearms, movement to keep going. That's where we need to focus. So, all women events and allow those children in there it's where we need to be. It's where we need to focus.
And I freely admit that I didn't get it, and I had to see it to understand it, assuming I still, even at this point, understand it. But Michelle, what is it that isn't there at a regular event, or is why is it so different? I mean, because it was clearly different. These women were having such a ball, and they so much wanted to be there. Help everybody understand if you can.
You mean as far as what is it about a women's only event?
Yeah. What is it? Because, it was so social. It was just very different that way.
It's extremely social. And just like you saying, every one of those ladies there adopted the little Cheyenne. Well, Of course they did. First of all, she's extremely cute. I looked at the pictures.
She is, isn't she?
But, to get somebody young in there and to see the fun and just, I guess, to be able to pull that out in somebody else is everything. When you get the women separated from the men, the whole movement changes. And I mean, nothing against the men on that aspect, but I think any woman that's ever taken part in a woman-only shoot, there's a different camaraderie that goes along with that. It's not necessarily a deadly, vicious competition, me against you. Mm-hmm. It's enabling everyone.
Do you think it's a lack of ego?
Well, absolutely.
Well, it's certainly a lack of testosterone, which is not necessarily a good thing. I mean, I remember Jane Ann at Gunsight saying about the all women's classes they had. She said, we do the same thing on the line, but when we go back and we're loading our magazines, we're talking about recipes and families and all the stuff.
Well, the listening is a little bit different in that aspect. You know, you hear something.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Exactly.
But
you hear it from an individual that isn't personally attached or emotionally attached or, any way to your life. And it just makes sense, or they're able to explain it differently. But also a woman teaching another woman changes everything because it levels that playing field. It's equaled.
Well, I saw something going on there. It was interesting. We worked with Michelle Serino on this. And, Chris Serino, her husband, has been helping us on the Gun Talk TV show. He was on Top Shot show. He's a runner-up for 2 different years. Really good shot, really great guy. Well, Michelle has gotten to be a really good shooter and instructor. And so we kind of followed her around. And she's a good trainer. And she made an observation. She said, some of the women here, their husbands came with them. And the husbands are coaching them and ruining the event for the women and also giving really bad advice at the same time. They're lousy coaches. And I saw it. I mean, it was just, you wanted to just take, in fact, I think Michelle went over to one of them and said, you need to stop because you're basically ruining this for her. And by the way, you're wrong with what you're telling her.
When we do CCW classes, we split husband and wife couples up completely. We won't let them shoot together. Just for that same reason. Just because it's less distracting, I think, for both parties involved. Not to mention the tutelage and instruction that they get, and they tend to listen better, both parties. It seems to work better that way. Not to say that the husband's going to say something or the wife's going to say something that's going to influence the shoot. Just you don't need the extra distraction. You don't see, if your husband approves of what you're doing.
So you're saying your training method breaks up marriages is what you're trying to say?
Permanently, yes.
Okay.
No, okay. Well, as long as you're accomplishing something, that's a good thing.
Consistent, yeah.
There you go. Let's go talk to Brian before he gets tired and goes away here. Hey, on line 3. Hey, Brian, how you doing, man?
I've been reloading for a few years now, and pretty much, your 940, 45, but also a few rifle cartridges. And I was wanting to know what the effect of crimp is on accuracy as far as your rifle cartridges go.
What calibers you loading?
30-06, 308. That's pretty much it right now as far as rifle cartridges go.
The key with crimping and accuracy. First of all, let me back up. For anybody who's listening doesn't know, crimping is when you load your case, the mouth of the cartridge case where the bullet slides into the mouth. You adjust the die, the loading die, so that it actually squeezes in the mouth of the case so it bites into the bullet just a little bit. It holds the bullet a little bit tighter. Generally, you want to crimp only onto the cannelure of a bullet. And you don't want to crimp into a bullet that does not have a cannelure. Because if you start crimping into a bullet, and a cannelure is a groove cut around the bullet, it's basically a little indentation groove, and it's made specifically for crimping that into it so that you can hold the bullet in the case tighter. If you try to crimp onto a bullet that does not have a cannelure, you often will get a bulge because you tried to squeeze the case mouth into the bullet won't give, and now the case itself is bulged out a little bit, and now you're foobarred for sure. So, first of all, don't be crimping into bullets that don't have cannelures. Secondly, the key to this is going to be consistency in crimping, and the only way you're going to get consistency in crimping is if the cases, the empty brass cases, are all exactly the same length. So you have to trim the case links so that they're all exactly the same length, so when they go up into the loading die, they get the same amount of crimping on it. Are you following me so far?
Yes, I've always trimmed all my rifle cases. Of course, I don't trim pistol cases, but I know that I'm going to get into reloading 38 and 357 Magnum pistol cartridges, and I know that you need to crimp those, because if you're shooting those, the bullets will tend to creep out under recoil.
Yes, you get bullet setback because you got a heavy bullet. The whole gun goes backwards, and it leaves the bullet hanging out there. It'll actually slide in the case.
That can actually mess up revolvers and stuff, can it?
Or you can actually have the bullet creep out so much that it locks up the cylinder.
Yep.
It's so yeah, it's a problem. And I think, to your original question, Brian, I don't think crimping has a lot to do. I don't think it's a big deal for accuracy for revolver cartridges at all. On rifle, it could make a difference, and I would just say you need to experiment with it. My thinking is this. On rifle cartridges, I want to go without crimping if I possibly can. I just as soon not have to figure out the right amount of crimp and all of that. So I tend to use bullets that don't have cantilures. And now if you go to real heavier bullets, 375 H&Hs, things like that, I just had a guy write me about a 338-06, asking about bullet creep in that. Using 225 grain bullets, you could get bullet creep, or it's sliding out or setback in those. In which case, you probably ought to find a cantilevered bullet and actually crimp it. Otherwise, I would prefer to use a bullet that does not have a cantilever, or at least if it does, I wouldn't crimp into it. It's just my take on it. But I guess to your original question, Brian, I don't think crimping has a lot to do with accuracy, certainly not in hunting accuracy. If you're talking bench rest or super long range, that may be another issue there. Listen, I appreciate the call, sir. Cool. Yeah, we got our gun geek on there, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. Anyway, let's do this. Let's take a quick break here. We'll come back. We'll talk. We got some folks still lined up. We'll do that. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
In November, a few races for U.S. Senate could determine whether more anti-gun laws are in our future and whether your rights will be infringed. Will be infringed. Don't risk your rights. The future of gun rights is in your hands. Be a gun voter. #GunVote. For more information, visit gunvote.org. Gunvote.org.
You are one among many, a growing brotherhood, and yes, sisterhood, of those who choose a concealed carry lifestyle. Those who believe the Second Amendment is as vital to our freedom today as it was more than 2 centuries ago. Those who embrace the natural right to protect themselves, their loved ones, even perfect strangers, should danger arise. You are one among many, and we've got your back. Carry Taurus and carry on. TaurusUSA.com.
All right, we are back with you. I'll tell you what, let's go to Craig on line 4 out of Toledo, Ohio. Craig, what are you running into here?
I belong to a local gun club here, and I'm trying to promote safety education, all this good stuff. I have been to a couple of Appleseed shoots and Project Appleseed, and I thought they were just fabulous. Mm-hmm. And, we got some old crusty guys saying, hey, what are you doing bringing people in here? The NRA keeps these guys at arm's length, and the Washington Post says these guys are terrible. And, I'm trying to keep from laughing. What do you know about Project Appleseed? Are they a pretty right-on organization with no political agenda? Because that's what these guys are afraid of.
I've never heard anything bad about them. Yes, they talk about liberty and about Appleseed being basically making sure that you are part of the traditional militia, which is, every able-bodied person. If the Washington Post thinks they're bad, then they must be good. I mean, come on.
Historically,
You're known by your enemies as well as your friends. As far as the NRA, I don't know. You got to remember with the NRA, as good as they are and as much good stuff as they do, it's an organization, and there are going to be turf wars out there. And so sometimes you just kind of have to factor that in and say, okay, hey, guys, I love you, but in this case, I don't know what's going on here. And it may not be NRA National. The other thing is, remember, if you're talking to a bunch of old crusty guys at the gun club, there are some of those guys who simply hate everything.
Well, and definitely, if you're trying to introduce something new like this that they're not familiar with, there's going to be pushback. So the ultimate goal, what do you get out of the end of it, is what we have to focus on.
I've taken a couple of things they've put on, and I wouldn't say at all that they're overly political. I think they make you try to think. They put situations out there that maybe the layman wouldn't consider. Situational awareness, stuff like that, and they get into the political scene. I think maybe what I'm trying to say is the status of the world right now, but it's not geared toward Democrat, Republican, or anything like that, from what I noticed.
Okay, all right. So, and I've not done an Appleseed project, so I can't speak from firsthand experience, but Michael has, so we'll go with that one. Craig, I hope that helps.
Thank you.
All right, you take care. Let's get Jeff in here from Meridian, Mississippi on line 2. Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
I'm fine. I just have a simple question. I sort of would like to know what the purpose is and what the authority is that you have to use an FFL to mail a gun from one person to another person. What's the protection there? What's the reasoning for it? What's the legal authority to do it? I think it's kind of absurd. My father left, this is about 30, 40 years ago, left a Beretta in a hotel, and he called them up and they sent it to him by mail. And he got it, and that was the end of that. I left the gun at my son's house, really as a loaner, and now he's going to have to go through an FFL, shipped to an FFL, for me to receive it.
Why? Who's telling you have to do that?
Well, everything I've read says that you cannot mail a pistol, or the UPS will not take a pistol and send it from one state to another state.
Okay, those are two different things. Let's break them out, okay? An individual cannot mail a handgun. You can mail a long gun, but not a handgun. That's part of the postal regulations. A dealer can mail a handgun, by the way, but put that aside for a minute. There's no law that says that an individual can't ship a handgun. Now, you could basically have that gun shipped to you because you're essentially sending it from yourself to yourself. You're not transferring ownership. Now, if you transfer ownership across a state line, this is important, the state line part is important, then it has to go through an FFL, a dealer. If it's going within the state, it's staying inside the state, you don't have to go through an FFL, even if you're selling it to somebody else. In most states, in some states, there's a requirement there. Now, let's fast forward to UPS and FedEx. They have their own rules, but that's all they are, is their internal rules. And they say it has to be shipped from an FFL to an FFL. Well, not really. If you go to one of their stores and they say, what's in the box? And you say, it's a handgun. They say, well, it's got to be gun, blah, 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 blah. But there are a lot of ways to ship FedEx and UPS. You just don't go to one of their stores.
Can you mail gun parts?
Yes, as long as it's not the receiver. The receiver is the gun itself.
The serial number part, right?
Whatever has the serial number on it, that cannot be mailed on a handgun. Well, everything else can because it's just parts.
Gotcha.
That's not a gun. But yes, you can certainly send a gun to yourself. If you're not transferring ownership to somebody, you can do that. So your buddy can basically send it back to you. I'm returning it. I just had him ship it from me to me.
I'm a bit confused. The gun is, this one specific gun is in Louisiana. It's in New Orleans.
Okay.
And it's my gun. He needs to send that gun, or I prefer him to send that gun to me in Mississippi. How does he go about doing that without having to go through an FFL?
Okay. Here's how he goes about doing that. He puts it in a box, a FedEx box, and he takes it to not a FedEx store. And, go online, do the shipping information on it, print out the prepaid label, attach it to the box, and then you go to one of these shipping posts, mailboxes, places, something like that, and they'll have a place there where you drop off prepaid FedEx boxes. Drop it off. They just say, is it ready to go? Yep, ready to go. It's prepaid. It's got the label on it. Good to go. drop it off, and walk away.
But that should be overnight, right?
Or it has to be overnight, but perfectly legal. Now, does it gel with FedEx's or UPS's internal policies? Nope. Does that cause me a concern? I sleep like a baby. Does that help, Craig?
Yes, it's great. Thank you very much.
All right, good deal. There sometimes are other ways to get a cat.
Now, what's the reasoning for not going to an official FedEx store?
Because they will ask you what's in the box.
Okay.
And I'm not about. Some people lie. I'm just not about lying. So I just go to another place where you drop it off. It's got the label on it. It's prepaid. Good to go. Ship it. It's gone. It gets there. It's all good. Insure it if you want to. Your call. But the key point is you're not breaking the law. Assuming that you're shipping it from yourself to yourself, you're not transferring ownership.
So if there was an X-ray process, let's say that they put them through, which I doubt, but if there was and they found it, you're just breaking their rules. You're not violating the law.
Just their rules.
I can live with that.
I broke a FedEx rule. Big deal. So,
you're doing time, pal.
That's right.
We're never going to ship your packages again.
That's right. You're doing time. We're going to make you drive a truck for 4 weeks. So, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Pocket holster.
Yes.
Talk to me.
I've been wanting one because I got this little Ruger LCR, and I'd been carrying it in an inside the waistband holster, which has been fine, but with the lightness of this particular pistol, I kind of wanted to carry it in the pocket, So I went and I looked all over locally, couldn't find a whole lot. So I went out to Bass Pro Shops yesterday and found a Range Max, made in USA, pocket holster. Gun fits real smooth into it. It was like $11. I got that and a speed loader for it. It was like 20-something total. It was what a great deal,
Huh.
I love this little pocket holster. It's great.
Well, I ran into an interesting thing with concealed carry with gear this week. Had run out and grabbed a couple pairs of jeans. Came back, didn't pay attention to them. Tried them on there, worked fine. Came back. They don't have enough belt loops, and so you got like one at like the 3 o'clock position, and basically one at 6 o'clock, or in your back, middle of your back, but lock down a holster on a belt, you really need belt loops pretty close together around the holster itself. And what happens is because there's such a big gap between the belt loops, the belt with the weight of the holster will actually ride up or down depending on if you're sitting or standing.
Right.
And you're going, well, that's something kind of weird I hadn't run into before.
Plus, you got to have it so tight you can't move your legs.
Well, yeah, the only way you keep it still is you cut off the circulation to every
this holster is tight. Holy cow.
And when you talk like that, you never have a problem because everybody leaves.
Right, nobody mess with you.
That's right. Everybody just leaves you alone. Stay away from that guy.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah, that's right. Go for it, That's all good. I don't know if you got it, Jim. I sent you an email with the picture.
Yeah, I responded to it. Yeah, awesome.
Okay, we put out some trail cameras out at this hunting lease that we just got on, and went and checked the pictures. And there's this 7-point buck, and he's standing in front of this camera looking at it like, I wonder what that thing is. It's like, and there's several pictures. He's like turning his head and it's like stuck his nose in the camera.
I think I can see the guy's table I'm going to be on in a couple of days.
It's just pretty funny. You got these real close-up shots of this buck.
Yeah, they're cool.
That's cool that it's a buck. So there you go. Of course, now at the same time, I've got looking at the security camera at the house right before I came on the show. We've got 3 deer walking around our front yard. In the middle of a neighborhood. Of course, it's kind of like my mom used to feed ducks in our backyard. She'd take corn out there and call them. They'd come flying in from all over. And people say, well, do you shoot those ducks? She says, no, those are my ducks. I go somewhere else, I'll shoot their ducks.
So Tom, I came downstairs 2 nights ago, right? And I was going to make, I think I was getting ice cream. I had a hankering for ice cream. And I had the back door was, open. I had it screened shut. And I look into the back porch, and there are 2 45-pound raccoons eating cat food inside my house.
What?
They'd broken through the back screen.
Whoa.
And we're just chilling. And they were huge.
Yeah.
I ran, I turned around, and as soon as I saw them, they scattered back through the screen. But I was running. I'm like, where's my rifle?
Of course, you're barefoot, and you're going, This is not good.
Oh, it freaked me out because all I saw was the whites of the reflection of the light from the dining room in their eyes. And I'm like, oh, God, what is that?
And they had the same reaction. Oh, what is that?
Yep. So I'm going to have to start carrying around an air pistol with me, I think.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about getting one of these real nice air guns, kind of going that way, because I'm not getting enough trigger time.
Well, they're great for training, especially if you buy one that's similar to your concealed carry pistol, because you can get the holster. You can get a lot of them are use standard size magazines too. Well, not standard size, but similar sized. And
right,
sure, why not? Why waste an opportunity to train?
Yeah, I mean it's they'll fit your whole. I was looking. In fact, I've got an M&P air gun, a BB gun, and so I could practice my draws, do things with that. So I want to do that. 3-gun. Have you guys ever shot, or have you even attended a 3-gun event?
No, sir.
No.
I've watched plenty of videos on the internet.
I'm sure. Looks fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
What was fun to me at this event, part of it, and there's a lot of things going on, was seeing women who had never shot 3-gun being willing. And here's the thing. I throw this out for your consideration, Michelle. If you said to these women, come to a national match and shoot, you've never shot 3-gun before, if it was primarily a male deal, they probably wouldn't.
I'd agree.
But if you, in this case, you said it's a women-only deal, and they go on the Facebook page for this event, and they see these women laughing and joking and having a good time, she says, I think I want to do that. And they show up, and they literally have never shot 3-gun before. So they're actually having to be told, okay, you're going to do this, do this, do this. And then they watch the pro shoot it. They go, okay. And they know they're not going to be a winner. But I guess that's part of what was going on, is that people were shooting with the absolute understanding they weren't going to not only win, they weren't going to place high. All they wanted to do, and I asked them, I kept saying, what are your expectations? To say, I want to have fun. I want to not get DQ'd, disqualified, and I want to be safe. That's it. And every single one of them had almost exactly the same answer.
Just want to finish. Yep.
Yeah, I just want to finish. I want to be, and the only reason you get DQ'd is because it's a safety violation.
Right.
And there were 2 or 3 that did. They were brand new at it, and they didn't know. There are certain rules about the 180 line. You can't point your gun, or if you sometimes you drop a gun into a barrel and leave it, and move to the next one. If the gun isn't put on safe when it's put on in the barrel, well, that's a DQ. You're out. And I mean, when you're out, you're out for the whole match. You're done. But to their credit, even if they're DQ'd, they'll stick around and help out. They don't go pout and sulk. They just go, yeah, well, I just made a mistake.
I think it's cool because if we had an all-guy event, it would be, oh, my God, is that sexist? That's totally wrong. But to be billed as an all-woman event, everybody's great on both sides with it. It's cool.
Interesting observation. Yeah, if you say, okay, no women can come shoot in our event.
It's cool.
Although I do know some guys that would like that.
Yeah.
Some of the guys that run some of these ranges go, you're going, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're not exactly the future of shooting.
Yeah. Our ambassador.
Yes, our ambassadors.
I think the opportunity for women to gain that education is a lot of what drives them there. They might hear these different things, or they might be completely new. And I guess that's what I found fascinating with that interview, is there were women first that came from overseas that can't even possess a firearm.
Yep.
They come to our states, they can get a gun that's provided to them, run through some rules, and just have fun. And you take somebody that's new to a shoot, it doesn't matter if it's a local or if it's a national shoot. And we had done this just this summer, and it was my daughter and her friend, and her friend's like, oh my gosh, the people here are just so nice. But it's true. It's a family, very family oriented. Everybody wants to help you as much as they can. They're going to be, your number one person next to you that's going to try to outshoot you.
Oh, sure.
But until that point, they're your best friend. They're going to help make repairs or give you a little bit of advice or watch you shoot and coach
gear.
You.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I think if women realize it's not so much of a masculine event, and this gives them a chance to engage in opportunities that aren't necessarily there, where they would feel the pressure of shooting against men. And I think that's why they go. It's just highly appealing.
There's another aspect of this. I'm just thinking about, there are a lot of women athletes out there, whether they just, are amateur athletes. They're playing tennis or runners or gym rats or whatever, who are bicycling. They may be looking for another sport, another challenge. And three-gun, because of the nature of it, you are literally running and gunning, and you're moving, you're shooting, you're trying different things, and it's a speed event, so you can compete at whatever level. I think this would appeal to a lot of women who have either a natural athletic ability or a strong competitive streak. Because I'll tell you, some of those women were as nice as they could beat each other, but when time came, they took it very seriously. They wanted to do well, and they're competitors. Yeah, easy for me to say. Or evidently not. I also saw, like Michelle Sereno, she's such a sweetie, and she would do a stage, and I mean, she's serious. She's banging targets and knocking stuff down and doing all that. And then at the end of it, they check the gun, you clear it and all that. And they say, okay, the range is clear. And then she would turn around and do this incredible happy dance. and just wave her arms around, woo, just having a ball. I mean,
but all intense and focused prior to that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're into it during what's going on. When it's over, now we're just having a ball. It was really cool. I mean, really doing the happy dance. And so it was something. Our challenge, really, is to try to get it right to show it on television. Because we shot it, now comes the constructing the story and try to capture the flavor of it, which I'm sure we can do. But I take that as a real responsibility to get this one right.
Now, at some point, do you think they're going to meld the Crimson 3-gun night shoot, into a ladies' division?
Wouldn't be surprised. There were women shooting the Crimson Trace 3-gun.
But there may be a separate division at some point, you think?
Sure. Well, of course, the problem the guys at Crimson Trace have is they did this as a lark. Hey, let's go out in the desert and shoot. And now they can't stop because everybody says, I want to go. Yep. They're signing up. They said, well, I couldn't get in this year. I got closed out. It closed before I could get in. So they're kind of looking around and going, what have we done? We've created this monster because it's so much fun.
Yep.
Anyway, it was just really sweet. By the way, let's see, random thoughts. Had several people asking about the Smith & Wesson 22 rimfire AR. They come in really cool, like harvest gold colors and purple colors and all that. So I kind of jumped from that to I am hearing stories about ARs being sold in stores at retail for $600, $550 right now.
Yep.
I mean, just nutty low prices. I heard about a major company selling ARs at giveaway prices to distributors and 1911s. And so we're going to see a lot of those hitting the market here.
Are those $49 lowers still available, do you know? Because I'm seriously thinking about going home. I was thinking about this.
That wasn't a limited time deal, was it? Wasn't that a...
It might have been.
There was a startup.
No, Pete was saying they were going to do the $49 lowers from Brownells.
I think I'm going to buy one tonight.
Just the thing to do is to go on the website and just keep checking, see when it pops up, and then when it does, don't mess. That's the other thing. These are absolutely limited time offers because when they've got their inventory, when that inventory is gone, prices are going to go back up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I probably can't build the whole thing right now, but I figure why not get the main important part to it.
You could do $49 now.
Yeah, do the rest later.
And your paperwork.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, in the
way.
Yeah, because you have to do the paperwork when you get the lower, because that is the receiver, that's the firearm itself. So you do that, you stick it to the side. The parts kit's probably not going to change much in price.
What's
so
that?
You just then later you could buy the parts kit later.
Well, you can buy a couple parts kits. You could buy a 22 long. You could buy a 223.
Get your
various uppers, a blackout, right?
Different uppers, yeah. That's the other thing is, God, I'm seeing so much interest in suppressors right now. It's crazy. Yes, suppressors. Are you talking to a suppressor, Jim?
Pew!
If we had known that would work that way, we would have done that years ago.
No doubt.
Note to self.
Yeah.
Note to self.
No kidding.
Suppress Jim, please.
Please.
I call that send a voicemail.
Boy, I wish
His lovely wife has been trying to do that for
Just
years.
say I went from having one wife to 4. Thanks, guys.
He's not irrepressible. He's unsuppressible.
There you go.
Not threaded.
Oh, Lord. Not threaded. Other topics. What are you guys working on? What's going on?
I got to play with a Bobcat and Tomcat Beretta yesterday.
And?
Too little for my monster mitts.
You got big hands, man.
Yeah, the 22 is okay. I could control that. The other one was the 32 cal. I could control it, but it's just my hands are too big. And could I make it work? Sure. Would I buy one? No. But it doesn't mean I wouldn't recommend it for somebody with the right hand because it was cool. It's got like the brake barrel kind of setup on them.
Oh yeah. It's the tip-up barrel.
Tip-up barrel, right. It's cool. They were cool. I mean, all guns are cool.
The big advantage of the tip-up barrel is there are some people who just can't work a slide. Mm-hmm. And so with a tip-up barrel, you can still have a semi-auto and not have to work the slide.
Correct. And the reason that whole idea came up because I was showing off my daughter's 22 Smith & Wesson and saying, no recoil. Look how easy the slide is. Whoa, this doesn't have a slide anyway, and it's a semi-auto. So that's how the whole conversation started.
Okay.
But they were cool.
Yeah, but your daughter got the Smith M&P 22 compact.
Correct.
Pistol.
And she sits in front of the TV with no mag, practicing her grip, practicing chambering.
She's such a good girl.
How old is she?
11 going on 40.
Yeah, there you go. You're in so much trouble there.
I know.
Okay, what did she dress up as for Halloween?
A Michigan State cheerleader. What else? Go Sparty. Go green, go white.
There you go.
Hey, what happened? Well, I guess we could talk off the air about the Mizzou game last night. But
Oh, pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden Mizzou, my alma mater, one of them, I kept getting thrown out of schools, so that's a whole different issue.
Nice.
So, but no, Mizzou, now let's see, leader in the SEC East at the moment. Mm-hmm. Of course, the problem with the SEC is they just eat each other up until they're all gone.
Right.
But there you go. So lots of money to LSU with 2 youngins, and then, spent my dad's money at Mizzou.
When you were young, your parents moved a lot, but you kept following them, right?
That's right. They left a forward address, but I was a tracker. So there you go. All right, I got to go get a 7mm08 ready. Let's see. I leave crack of dawn tomorrow to go to a super secret unveiling of a super secret gun, which we will be able to talk about before too long. But I've actually seen it. I'll just throw out this little tidbit. It is unlike anything I have seen before. And people are either going to love it or they are going to absolutely hate it. I'm going to put it on the super secret Twitter account.
There you go.
There you go. So that's, but I can tell you, it's a handgun, it's a carry gun, and it's just different. I can tell you that for sure.
Okay.
So as soon as we can go public with it, which I don't know when that's going to be, but I'll know when I get back. We'll be able to talk about it. But it's the fun season. We have not had any really cool, great new guns come out in the last couple of years because nobody had to make any. They were just selling everything they could make. And all of a sudden, man, we already did a bunch of videos on one new product that we'll be able to release pretty soon. And then I'm going to go check this one out. And
is this super secret gun a lever action revolver?
How did you figure that out, dude?
Nobody makes one.
It's the Steve McQueen wanted dead or alive model in a pocket gun.
Hey, there you go. Nice.
You walk funny when you carry it, but that's it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, be safe, have fun. Give us let us know when you can.
I will do that. And let's see. Next week we'll be doing this remote from far, far south. So,
south of you?
So, yeah.
Can't go much south of you.
You got to cross water. So, as I say, I can see the Gulf of Mexico from here. So
Guatemala.
Actually, we'll be down in Key West.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And, first time to Key West. Got to go do the Hemingway tour, all of that.
Have to have some key lime pie.
Key lime pie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and the thing is, you either hate it or you love it. It's one of those. So, but you got to do it anyway, right?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, never done that before. So, and I got a buddy down there who says, hey, man, I got a boat. Come down, go fishing. Said, oh, I am there. We're going to go see if we can snag a fish. And he said, we'll take it to the restaurant and they'll cook it for us. And, cool. So that all sounds good. I don't know that there's any shooting down there other than,
you could go fish hunting
on Duval Street, but that's a whole different issue.
I think you should. I think I like Michael's idea. Take a pistol shooting.
Yeah.
Lure him to the top of the water, and you shoot. You can't penetrate far, but
when I was young and brilliant, like 12, we would take. Remember M80s?
Yeah.
Take those. Rubber band them to a small piece of rock or brick, light them, drop them in the lake, and then you go paddle around with a boat and a dip net and pull up the fish that you blew up. Yeah, what could go wrong?
Now, the fish weren't actually killed, though, were they? They were just shocked.
They just stunned, Yeah. And we didn't really care. We just kind of, anything that's loud, we're all about it.
Got a PETA lawyer on line 3 for you, Tom. You want to take this call? Or?
I love PETA chips. Does that help?
Close enough.
Oh, okay. Good deal. You guys have a good week, and we will do it again next week because no one can stop us.
There we go.
Thanks, Tom.
Be good.
Take care.
So, how did you like basking in the glow of the Gun Talk After Show? I just made that up. We hang around and talk a little more after the radio show every week. You can get it on your computer, iPhone, iPad, and we have a new Gun Talk app that makes it real easy for your Android or iPhone. And we're always hanging out at guntalk.com. Next week, Tom, Jim, Michelle, and Michael will be hanging around after the radio show for another Gun Talk After Show. We hope to see you right here then. Bye.